Are we doing? My mic's on the opposite side. I don't know what to do. Good evening, everyone. And I am going to call our regular meeting of the 77th Monrovia City Council this Tuesday, July 7th at 7:34 p.m. And welcome, 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 everyone. I hope you're all enjoying your summer. It was a bummer last night with the soccer game, but what can I say? We are going to start off with the invocation from Sonia Luganbuehl. Sonia? Oh, there, you moved. Followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Sergio Jimenez. Sonia.
Thank you. Let's pray. God of all creation, thank you for gathering us here tonight in this time and space. Awaken us to be present to you and to one another in these shared hours that we are given. We give thanks for our city staff and our YES youth interns who are serving in various places this summer. We pray for the children, families, individuals, and seniors who benefit from our city programs and opportunities that are designed for their well-being and enjoyment. We ask for wisdom and creativity for those who work to make these programs and businesses sustainable here in Monrovia. As the heat gets stronger this week, we ask you for your comfort and your protection for those who suffer most and for those who respond first, our fire department and police officers. Now we give thanks for our city council members, city staff, and for our guests in attendance with us tonight. We ask that you would expand our vision, open our minds, and be at work in us as we seek to be good stewards of the resources that you have given to us. Let us not lose sight of your love for justice and your desire for our peace. May we lead well in ways that restore our community and restore the earth. We pray all these things in the love of God, our Creator, Sustainer, and Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Please turn to face our nation's flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Could we please have roll call?
Councilmembers Belden,
Here.
Dr. Kelly,
Here.
Spicer,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez,
Present.
and Mayor Shevlin.
Here. Thank you very much. And then we did not have a closed session this evening, so there's no report out for that. And we are moving on then to our presentations and proclamations. PR1 as recognition of outgoing Community Services Commissioner Gina Mills, and then Library Board member Betsy Woodford. And we just want to thank them so very, very much for all their dedicated service. And if you'd like to, Rebecca did, or want to say anything, you're sitting there going like that. But I'd like to invite Gina and Betsy to come forward if you'd like and say a few words, and we'll present the plaques to you.
I was just getting a plaque. Well, I just want to, Betsy Woodford from the Library Board, and I just want to say how the Library Board is so much the heart and soul of a community. And it certainly is here with all the hard work that the library does and all the programs they put on. And I remember during COVID, one of my very first thoughts was, oh my gosh, the library is closed. And what a huge impact that would have on me and the community. So it's been a pleasure to serve. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gina Mills from Community Services Commission. And it has been my honor over these years to serve this city, to serve all of you. And I am so grateful to our wonderful, wonderful, honorable council, our city staff. You've all been wonderful and kind to me. You've been my home away from home. And it's just been wonderful. And I'm also so grateful to my family, my friends who are here tonight. My family, thank you for all these years for sharing me with everyone. And I will leave you with this, that parks really do make life better. So one of the greatest things that I saw this week was having our World Cup watch party in the park, and that was a great idea. I was sharing that with Councilmember Belden. I go, I don't know whose idea that was, but that was wonderful because what that showed us is that we are better together, and we are a community. And if I leave you with nothing, know that we're a community, and we are all here to serve. Everyone in this community can do something, and I'm glad that I did do something. I'm going to continue. So this isn't the end. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
Well, thank you. And any comments from our council? I just want to thank you, yes, and as for the soccer game, yes, win, lose, whatever, obviously we lost, but we did it together and had a lot of fun. And I know that my husband was ecstatic that we had the watch parties. He actually came down here and left his message for the city clerk and for Mr. Feek as to his desire to have a watch party, so unbeknownst to me. So at any rate,
Thank you to both of you for all the work you've done for so many years. I know the community really appreciates it, but I know the community sees all the work that you've done regularly, and we will continue to do. So thank you so much.
I want to say thank you, too. I've always said that volunteers make Monrovia go. Some people think that commissioners get paid. They get paid in the smiles and the good that they do for the city of Monrovia. The commissioners are idealists who don't expect financial gain. They just want to do good. So thank you both for serving.
I want to say thank you both. Betsy, I had the privilege of serving with alongside you and seeing your dedication and your faithfulness, and we just want to say thank you for that. And I know we're going to see you in other areas in Monrovia serving. And Gina, to give, how many years, can you step to the mic and let everyone know how many years you served in this capacity?
Since 2011, so that's 15 years.
Oh, wow.
terms.
15 years of giving of your time, meetings, service. I see you everywhere with a smile on your face. And I just want you to know that your heart, your spirit, your service, your care has left an indelible a mark on our community that will not be forgotten. So thank you.
Thank you, it's my service.
Thank you, Ms. Woodard, for your dedication over at the library. And Gina, we've been together for the same amount of years that you've been serving over at the community center. So I just want to thank you for your service. And I know your job isn't over yet. There's a lot more to come. All right?
and community services and the library working together. There's so much great programming, and I know that the commissioners are all a part of that. And so again, thank you very much for your service, and we look forward to seeing you around town. And we've got some plaques for you. Come on down. We can have a photo up here.
Oh, that's you, 15 years, that's a lot.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more.
Okay. And then we are moving on then to PR2, which is proclaiming June 2026 as Parks Make Life Better Month. And I've asked Larry Spicer to read this, please.
Are you coming up,
Present
Tiff? Okay.
Come on,
And whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of our communities, and whereas Parks and Recreation nourishes our community through programming such as summer concerts in the park, senior outings, contract classes, youth programming, indoor recreational spaces, nature and wildlife educational programming. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes outdoor activities in nature while positively improves mental well-being, increases cognitive performance, improves physical health, and reduces stress and anxiety. And whereas Parks and Recreation offer our community a safe space to access nature, resources, socialize, play, exercise, recreate, learn, and relax. And whereas Parks and Recreation strengthens our community sense of place and increases cultural cohesiveness. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. Now, therefore, I, Becky Shevlin, I forgot the A, Becky A. Shevlin, Mayor of the City of Monrovia, California, along with the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim July 2026 as Parks Make Life Better Month. And we encourage all residents to use and encourage our parks and recreational opportunities dated the 7th day of July 2026.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Shevlin and council members. We are beyond thrilled, and the community services team, thank you so much for your support. We are very excited to kick off this month. We are proud to partner with you and the community to celebrate this statewide campaign. We wanted to let the community know that the Parks Make Life Better Month highlights the vital role that recreation plays in our town, from promoting health and wellness to building stronger and more connected communities. This is a great reminder for all of us to visit our local parks that have made such a huge impact on all of us. We are proud to connect our community to our parks, and we are proud to connect our community with each other. July is the perfect month to celebrate Parks Make Life Better Month, and we are excited to offer recreation activities for everyone, including summer concerts in the park, movies in the park, summer contract classes for all ages, Canyon Park, and the Monrovia Spot Program. Tonight, we are honored to have our team of recreation professionals with us tonight. With me here, we have our recreation supervisor team, Eugene Sook and Johan Galvan, and our recreation specialist team, Damian Lopez, Giselle Nunez, Caitlin Lee, and Mary Jo Ortiz, who will help us accept this proclamation tonight. We invite everyone in our community to participate not just this month, but all year long. Thank you so much for celebrating Parks Make Life Better Month with us.
Okay, and it wouldn't be, we have to have a picture, group picture.
Hey, if I could ask too, if staff, if you guys could stick around for just a few minutes, we're going to do a quick update, and it'd be nice to have you here.
Okay. And then there's a little bit of business that we need to catch up on. Mr. Jimenez was not at our last council meeting, and you had a birthday. And so we have to sing happy birthday to you and catch up, and everybody has to have cupcakes. So on the count of three, let's sing happy birthday. I'll wait for our chief to light the fire here.
Thank you. It's red, white, and blue.
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you, cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to you, cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday, dear Sergio. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Sure. I'll take, yeah, thank you. Do that so it doesn't get my teeth.
No, I'm good. Oh, yeah.
So happy birthday, Sir Jael. I hope you had a great day. Okay, we do not have a student government representative report until the fall. Look for that in September. And then on our order of business, we are taking a few things out of order this evening. And we're going to move up the RCM1 City Council directives, and I'm going to turn it over to Dylan Feek.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple quick updates, and I appreciate you letting me do this item out of order. Wanted to make sure that we did it with everybody here in the room. First, two quick updates. The city has finalized the RFP for the 222 East Cypress project. We'll be releasing that document by the end of this week. It'll circulate publicly. We'll begin soliciting responses, but the public will see that available here soon. Also, the Anderson House, we are having a meeting later this week where we'll be discussing the plans to install the foundation on the property as well as utilities. And we look forward to bringing that item to City Council here in the very near future with an update. So just exciting to be working on a couple projects related to historic preservation. But the real reason that I wanted to bring this item forward in the meeting is, as council knows, over the years, there are times where I've enjoyed surprising city council. And what I'd like to do now is ask for your help in sharing some of these fun surprises. What the public may not know is earlier today, before the meeting, I gave an envelope to each one of the city council members. So they might have an idea of what's in it, but some of the items, they do not know what's in the envelope. But these are parts of my report that typically we share that are what I like to call surprises, which usually mean good news. If I could invite first Mayor Pro Tem Sergio Jimenez to go first, followed by Council Members Belden, and then Spicer, and then followed by Dr. Tamla Kelly, and then Mayor Shevlin, if you'll read the last one. Lauren's going to help me with a couple presentation slides we'll do as you review your items. So if you could, Sergio, if you could kick us off by helping me with our updates.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm proud to announce good news about grant funding that affects some of our most exciting programs here at the City of Monrovia. The state of California is awarding the City of Monrovia $25,000 from the Office of Traffic Safety. These funds will be used to further implement bicycle safety workshops, host a bicycle rodeo. Edward, get ready. Provide helmets and safety gear for community members and further support community cycling events like Walk, Bike, and Roll. So it was these programs which have helped us become an All-America City finalist again in 2026. I'm also proud to announce that the Rivers and Mountains Conservancy has awarded the City of Monrovia $800,000 under a statewide Proposition for Wildfire and Forest Resilience Program grant.
Okay.
This funding will directly support hazardous fuel reduction, provide public education, and even implement restoration projects across our beautiful Monrovia hillsides. The funding will help us address our Hillside Wilderness Plan resource management goals and represents continued progress in our proactive approach to community safety. So, good news.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, the good news continues. For years, our former colleague, Gloria Crudgington, advocated for regional collaboration when addressing stormwater issues. These shared responsibilities can only be achieved if we work together over the long run. And this is to quote her, "We don't have to be the fastest gazelle in the herd. We just need to be moving," she would say. That torch has been passed on to all of us now, and we continue serving and advocating for water quality in Monrovia. For those who don't know, Monrovia helped form the Rio Hondo San Gabriel River Watershed Management Authority, it's a name, right? A joint powers authority to help implement regional stormwater projects in the cities of Arcadia, Bradbury, Duarte, Sierra Madre, and Monrovia. Funding the JPA's largest project, which is the Peck Load wow, Peck Road Lake Park. That's something has always been a primary focus of the past decade. And I'm happy to announce today that next month, the LA County Board of Supervisors will be awarding $19 million for the Park Lake Road project. You heard that right, over $19 million, right? Is there a slide? I guess it is right there. Yeah, great. And that's not it all. The JPA has actually secured a total of $32 million, so nearly 90% for the total cost of that project. The awarded funds will help improve water quality in the region, increase our local water supply, install drought-tolerant landscaping at Peck Road Lake Park, and also install a new multi-use path and bicycle path for active transportation users. And if you haven't been there, you can go down there. It's down at the bottom, like San Anita Wash, and Peck Road as well. And of course, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Alex Tajiki for all your help in these endless efforts, making sure this money comes through and making sure that this project comes through. And thanks for helping secure this funding, of course, sir. And that's the other great news, but there's more to come.
Oh, feet don't fail me now. I am happy to share the City of Monrovia and owners of 347 Highland Place have reached a verbal agreement for the city to purchase this property and add to our Hillside Wilderness Preserve. Can we get a clap? In 2019, the current property owner purchased the 8-acre property with a single-family home. Their plan was to develop the property with 3 large hillside homes adjacent to the Hillside Wilderness Preserve. Over the years, community members expressed their concerns about the development, which also provides access to the Big M and connects to the Wilderness Preserve. In the spirit of partnership, the owners have agreed to demolish the existing single-family residence and sell the property to the City of Monrovia for $2 million. And that's in cold, hard currency. The city is using available funds restricted for open space acquisition. In the coming weeks, the city will undertake necessary steps to formally acquire the property, including holding meetings at the DRC, the Planning Commission, and the City Council. We will share this information in the upcoming city manager's update for those who wish to follow along in this process. Next.
Well, we have more good news for you, and are you guys excited or not? I mean, no, okay.
Kind of
It's-
quiet out there.
We got money coming, we got property, you know. Okay, so now we have been proud to be named a 2026 All-American City finalist and traveled to Denver this past week. While we may not have been named a winner this year, Monrovia has been named a finalist in 3 of the past 4 years. A testament to the amazing work happening in our hometown. If our community and our country could have been there to see the work of 20 amazing communities, we would all be better off. Last week, as we were departing for the All-American City competition, the International City/County Management Association, known as ICMA, unveiled their 2026 Local Government Excellence Awards, a collection of honors bestowed upon the very best in professional local government, local government leadership, for the Community, Equity, and Inclusion Award. ICMA is honoring the City of Monrovia and our very special project, Saturi Sunichi Park, for this prestigious award. It was such an honor to break ground on the project in June 2025 and host a ribbon cutting and celebration only 7 months later in January 2026. This will be the city's 3rd ICMA Local Government Excellent Award in the category of Community, Equity, and Inclusion.
Okay. last, but this is definitely not least, I've been asking and I've been trying to get updates on this, and I just couldn't get any updates. And so Dylan promised me that we'd have an update. So like I said, I knew the topic, but I didn't know what the
Come
update
on,
was.
Becky.
Okay. The Ramona Wildlife Center has provided some exciting updates relating to Blondie's bear cubs, including the cubs are now about 6 months old and doing great. They're exhibiting all the natural behaviors, and we hope to see as they prepare for life back in the wild. The cubs absolutely love swimming and splashing in their pools. They've been enthusiastically sampling a wide variety of native vegetation and continue to impress our team with the willingness to try new foods. They still, oh, got it. Oh, so cute. They still receive a daily gruel supplement to ensure they're getting proper nutrition. That sounds tasty. As they would still be nursing from their mother at this age in the wild. To help develop natural foraging skills, our team provides root balls and decaying logs filled with insects. Another tasty meal. The cubs have become very skilled at tearing them apart to find tasty bugs hidden inside. On several occasions, when staff walk nearby, the cubs immediately run into their dens to hide. While it may seem funny, this is exactly the instinct we want to see. A healthy fear of people is an important behavior that will help them thrive once they're back in the wild. Looking ahead, the RCW or RWC has a meeting with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife next month to discuss the release plan. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife has confirmed they would like the cubs to be released this fall. If I understand correctly, though, they do take definite advice from the Wildlife Center. And we're excited to continue working toward that goal. And those wishing to help raise funds for the care of these bear cubs can contribute financially directly to, and there's a website there. And if we could please include that in your update, that would be great, because it's really hard to find online. But that's really, they're so cute. Oh. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and council members, for indulging. I appreciate you helping share some great news happening in Monrovia. That's my report this evening. Thank you.
Great report, Dylan.
Thank you. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was.
And especially so many good things. Yay, yay, yay. All right. Well, then, we are moving on then back to our calendar. Under the consent calendar, and all the items on the consent calendar are considered. Thank you. Thank you, staff.
Thank you, guys.
Considered to be routine in nature and can be enacted by one motion. And so unless there's something that someone would like pulled or discussed outside of the consent calendar, we can entertain a motion approving CC1 through CC18.
So move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Since there's a couple of big ones on there, I'm going to say go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Council members Belden.
Yes.
Dr. Kelly. Yes. Spicer.
Yep.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez.
Yes.
And Mayor Shevlin.
Yes. All right, thank you very much. At this time, we move on to our public input. And again, we thank everyone for participating in our meetings, and we encourage our public comment on items under our jurisdiction. And so at this time, you will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. And I do believe we have some speaker cards. And you can also address the individual items, but right now, these are items that are not on our agenda. So this is public comment for items not on our agenda. And I'll have Alice then, she'll call you up in order.
Okay. All right, starting with Sherry Lochner.
Sherry, come on down.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sherry Lochner, and I'm a resident of Monrovia. I grew up here in Monrovia and Duarte. I am here this evening to continue to advocate for day laborers and other people who are immigrants targeted by ICE. At the last council meeting on the 4th of June, I reported there had been 69 deaths as a result of ICE actions, including people who have died while in custody. As of today, there are now 72 people who have died as a result of ICE actions. 3 more people have lost their lives, all in the state of Texas. Felix El Corte Rodriguez died on the 19th of June. He was a Mexican citizen and was 63 years old. Felix was released from the Webb County Jail on June 16th and was immediately detained by ICE. In Texas, police cooperate with ICE. Felix was in ICE custody for 3 days when he was found unresponsive in his cell. He was rushed to Laredo Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. His official cause of death is currently awaiting an autopsy. This is the 5th death in custody at an ICE detention center in Texas. Adrian Andreas Florian died on the 25th of June while in ICE custody in Los Fresnos, Texas. He was 85 years old and a citizen from Germany. He had no criminal history and spent the last 10 months of his life in ICE custody. He had dementia along with a history of high blood pressure. Like Felix, Adrian's official cause of death is awaiting an autopsy. Today, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was shot and killed in Houston, Texas. Lorenzo was a citizen of Mexico. He was shot dead by ICE agents conducting a vehicle stop in a quiet residential neighborhood this morning at 7 a.m. There is an ongoing investigation into the circumstances surrounding Lorenzo's death. We should all be shocked and outraged at the deaths of these people, regardless of their immigration status. Immigration status should never strip someone of dignity, due process, or their life. My colleagues and I have been attending these city council meetings since last year after the death of Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez. We will continue to be present at these council meetings to speak truth to power. And so this evening, I reiterate the following requests of the Monrovia City Council. 1, continue to pursue an independent report investigating the circumstances resulting in the death of Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez. 2, adopt an ordinance declaring Monrovia a sanctuary city. And 3, continue to work with us to establish a permanent memorial honoring Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez. We will not be silent. Only the people can save the people. Solo el pueblo, salva al pueblo.
Martha Mack.
Good evening, Martha.
Hello, Mayor, City Council. I will be reading the names of the 72 people that have died in ICE custody or as a result of ICE actions. Jose Manuel Sanchez Castro, Pankaj Karan Sinj Kataria, Ramesh Amechand, Henry Donald Ruiz Guyen, Sarawit Gehezing Dehene, Maxim Cherniak, Juan Alexis Tineo Martinez, Ruben Ray Martinez, Brian Garzon Rayo, Non Nuac Nguyen, Marie Ange Blaze, Abelardo Avellaneda, Jesus Molina Vella, Johnny Novieyo, Isidro Perez, Jaime Alanis Garcia, Tien Xuan Fan, Chao Feng Gay, Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez, Lorenzo Antonio Batres Vargas, Oscar Rascon Duarte, Santos Benegas Reyes, Ismael Ayala Uribe, Norlan Guzman Fuentes, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, Hua Bing She, Miguel Ángel Garcia Hernández, Leo Cruz Silva, Hassan Ali Moed Saleh, Gabriel Garcia Aviles, Josué Castro Rivera, Kai Yin Wang, Francisco Gaspar Andres, Pete Sumalo Montejo, Shiraz Fatehali Sachwani, Isaias Sanchez Barbosa, Jean Wilson Brutus, Fawad Saeed Abdul Qadir, Delvin Francisco Rodriguez, Nenko Stanev Ganchev, Keith Porter Jr., Geraldo Lunas Campos, Luis Gustavo Núñez Caceres, Renee Nicole Macklin Good, Luis Beltran Yanes Cruz, Paradis La, Victor Manuel Diaz, Eber Sanchez Dominguez, Wael Tarabishi, Jairo Garcia Hernandez, Alex Jeffrey Preddy, Lorth Sim, Linda Davis, Nurul Amin Shah Alam, Julio Cesar Peña, Alberto Gutierrez Reyes, Pejman Carcenas Najafadbadi, Emmanuel Damas, Daffy Michelle, Erwin Cruz Nape, Orlin Hernandez Reyes, Mohamed Nazir Patiawal, Royer Perez Jimenez, Jose Guadalupe Ramos Solano, Tuan Van Bui, Alejandro Cabrera Clemente, Aled Damien Carbonell Betancourt, Danny Adan Gonzalez, Mamuka Armeladze, Felix Alcorta Rodriguez, Adrian Andreas Florian, and Lorenzo Salgado Arajo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ellen Dewar.
Good evening, City Council.
Good evening.
And staff. My name is Ellen Dewar. I am the one who last year challenged you to save the month of June for a Tell the Truth proclamation. I still support that great idea. I recently evaded Mayor Becky at a local event. I'm sure she didn't notice, but I felt I would be handcuffed by the Monrovia Water Police for having left my garden hose on for 4 days. I felt sure she would sentence me to water waster jail on the spot, so I made a beeline, and I apologize for that. That fear led me to contemplate the hard job you all have dealing with the bureaucracies, the bureaus, the paperwork, the document dumps, policy morass, people mess. You have my endless respect for working with excruciatingly boring and legally binding details that only make my brain hurt. Then I go on here about peacocks, mosquitoes, bears, phone service, web service, water quality, fusion centers, cell towers encroaching on on private land, state law condoned condos in single-family zones, that's coming, and county intrusions into city affairs. So related to all that plate spinning, there's historic preservation. Last year, before my proclamation request, I went to the library, I went to the internet, I went to friends and historians. I even knocked on a local historical society president's door asking him, so hey, what gives? Why does the library have no original source material available on the founders of Monrovia? To my childish way of thinking, I heard him say, well, there's a bearded guru somewhere up there on Mount Rankin or Kilimanjaro or somewhere who would maybe, after I pilgrimage up to the top, let me borrow from his lending library. The library's heritage blog was never mentioned. I have my little notes taken on this business card from the librarians that I visited. They told me nothing about that blog, and I was not allowed to get into the heritage room, the private archives, where apparently all the good stuff lies. They did not give me a reason. So while I am too busy monitoring my 8 outdoor spigots to do more about that, this is all I have to say about that. I bought one of the books I was after on Amazon, and I plan to donate it to the library. So fantastic that we saw Becky? No. Hi, Betsy, earlier, having done her 3 years as a Monrovia Library volunteer. I will make sure that someone gets it gets in good hands. I wanted to see if the library board would show me how to make sure this request of a donation stays available to all the residents of Monrovia. Anyone who wants to walk in there and look up these books should be able to find them and read them. This one should be allowed for checkout. So, because...
You're at your 3 minutes.
Okay.
If you could wrap it
Bureaucracy
up.
nightmares notwithstanding, I think that pride in a nation comes from a city deeply ingrained in truth-telling and not from celebrating sexual lifestyles. So, way to go. Truth proclamation.
Thank you. And Rebecca, maybe you could talk, if you want to go to back in the lobby, and she can talk to you about the library. Thank you.
Next is David Pinto.
Mr. Pinto.
Thank you, Mayor and councilors. I wanted to respond to the two ladies over here who are talking about Hispanic victims of ICE. What astounds me, well, first of all, my heart goes out to anybody who's the victim, especially of government injustice. So I understand that. But what I don't understand.
Could you
is
please
the-
address the city council?
But what I don't understand is the lack of compassion for the victims of illegal aliens. So I'm going to take the same amount of time and read a list of Hispanic victims of Hispanic illegal aliens. 10-year-old Anthony Avalos, tortured by an illegal alien and killed. 14-year-old Christy Supina, raped, stabbed, and dumped in a field. 15-year-old Jackson Nanez Lopez shot while protecting mother from being raped. 15-year-old Miguel Avila and his brother, sister, and mother shot to death. 16-year-old Kayla Cuevas beaten with machete and bats by an illegal alien gang. 16-year-old Elizabeth Painter raped, tortured, and murdered by illegal 5 gang members. 17-year-old Felicia Nicole Ruiz stabbed 17 times. I'm not going to tell what happened. It's more or less like that. 17-year-old Brittany Baez, 20-year-old Kendra Gonzalez, 24 Reese Gonzalez, 25 Officer Shane Figueroa, killed in a crash by a drunk illegal alien. Naoma Dominguez, clubbed to death. Valerie Reyes, murdered and stuffed in a suitcase. Robert Roses, Jesse Benavides, Oscar Navarro, Javier Vega, Border Patrol agent, a person protecting us, shot to death in front of his wife, children, and parents. Monica Delgado, Tahina Davila, Officer Henry Canales, shot to death. Maria Playet's 11-year-old daughter. And I have just 6 more to read. Maria Playtes, Santiago Lopez Morales, Sarah Escudera, killed in a crash by a drunk illegal alien. Myra Sanchez, hit and run. Maria Fuertes, fatally attacked and sexually assaulted. And finally, my 31-year-old daughter, pregnant daughter, Yvonne Pinto, shot and killed. I have an Academy of Music for the Blind, and I have 50% of the children are Hispanic, and I spend hours getting scholarships for them every day for the last 20 years. They're the salt of the earth, these families, but they're here legally.
Mr. Pinto, I'm sorry, you have met your 3 minutes. Thank you.
Kayla Barnes.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kayla Barnes. These are my sons, Harlem and Onyx. We came in today just, I didn't write anything down. I see everyone with, their notepads and things, but I came into the city today to just address an issue, and they invited me here. And since my son Harlem has been in Monrovia Unified, and since we moved into Monrovia, he has been experiencing racism in schools. It is now followed into his summer camp, where it is all the schools together now. It's not just one school. So he's not even dealing with his classmates anymore. These are the kids of the community. And every day I pick him up, and then there's a report, hey, miss, we need to talk to you. There's an ongoing investigation. They always say, hey, your son was targeted. This is another racial comment. It was another racial comment today. Oh, they hit him today, So I just wanted to see if the city can get inclusion specialists at the elementary schools, because it's starting there. It's not at the probably at the high school, but they're so young. My son is 9 years old. And my yes, my 4-year-old is getting ready to go into school at Monroe. And it scares me. And I just want them to feel safe in the community. I grew up here. I love Monrovia, and I want them to have the experience that I had here. But so far, it hasn't been that way. And so I just wanted to see if the city can get inclusion specialists, but inclusion specialists that look like my boys.
that understand what they're going through and how to talk to them and talk to other kids about these issues.
Thank you. Just so you know, on public comment, we can't have a dialogue. It's not on the agenda. And I will let you know that we are the city council and not the school board who would have the authority to do that. However, we do have a school resource officer. I don't know if there's anyone here this evening that could talk to her.
I would recommend, ma'am, if you could, when you, outside the doors, we have a couple police officers, Captain Sarah Covarrubias, as well as Police Chief Heath Harvey, who are both back there. I might recommend just following public comment, if you could just share with them, share your information. I'll certainly follow up.
Yeah, I got a lot of information today, so thank you. They gave me the superintendent's information, but they told me come tonight, and so I wanted to come tonight and just let it be known what's going on at our schools.
Our officers can probably give you some more information.
Thank you.
And Karen DeClue.
Good evening, Karen.
To echo what we heard a couple public comments ago, there are a lot of things in this room happening, man. A lot of big things, and I don't know if I've ever sat through so many important public comments before mine. And thank you, everyone, for those really important public comments. And that's all. I just came from picking up my 12-year-old from water polo practice at the Monrovia High School pool. And this has been a long time coming and something that has been really full circle in my life, having learned to swim in the Monrovia High School pool, having lifeguarded there over my summers, come back to swim laps there before the shutdown. That's where all three of my children had their very first swim team experience. It was really heartbreaking for me to see the city and the school district and their shared use agreement in 2021, followed by a complete breakdown of the pool altogether for a whole year, which ended up falling due to lack of maintenance from the school district. So it was really, really heartwarming for me to see the city step up when it wasn't even really on your plate, to step up to help fix the pool, to get it back up and running, get the parks open get the schools open as parks for the city, get the pool open for city use. Seeing our schools and our city work together uplifts the entire community. I know you know that. And it has been very firsthand for my family this summer. Seeing people getting access to affordable swimming lessons right here in Monrovia in the mornings and the evenings has been really wonderful. We have attended open free swim from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, Monday through Saturday. There's always been a great turnout there. We bring friends. It's like just what summer's supposed to be. And then access for kids, younger kids, to join a youth water polo team in the evenings to start training. And she's even training alongside the high schoolers, some familiar faces there. So to get that kind of feeder program for our school athletics is also going to benefit our school program as well. Thank you so much for reaching out and for getting this to happen, because the benefits have been really apparent already this summer. Thank you.
Glad to hear. Thank you. I don't have any more cards, but is there anyone in the audience wanting to come and address the city council? I see someone back in the back. Please come forward, and if you could state your name, please. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Ruby Chenault, and I'm here to kind of voice my opinion about the ALPR automatic license plate reader cameras from Flock that are present in our city. I would like to advocate against these cameras, and I would really appreciate if the council would consider ending their contract with Flock. So here I'm going to talk about a few of the reasons why I think these cameras are very dangerous to our community. So these are, okay, sorry. There are like a bunch of sources that are talking about how, these cameras are being exploited in many ways that aren't actually helping our communities. For example, calmatters.org, which is an independent, nonpartisan publication in California, Their article in June 2025 stated that there were Southern California police departments found cooperating with ICE. California does not share data across state borders, but the data that is shared in-state is already a huge danger for many, and is in conflict with California's sanctuary state status. Monrovia Police Department has publicly stated that they will not cooperate with ICE, and yet other police departments have access to the Flock network and abuse their power. Even if it's not our police department, there are other police departments that can use these databases and target people who are not necessarily any suspect of any crime, and they can kind of just get away with it. There are reports of police officers who have used these cameras, used these databases by conducting test searches where they're not necessarily monitored, and they have, kind of tracked all of the movements of their ex-spouses or their children. And again, like I said, with the ICE kind of not even cooperation, because according to NPR, there is data from these cameras shared with ICE without explicit local consent. According to PasadenaNow.com, there is a lack of evidence linking Flock to crime reduction rates, and ColoradoBoulevard.net states that Pasadena is considering canceling their contract with Flock. Many of the Monrovia residents are unaware that they are being surveilled in this capacity, and then all the people that I have talked to so far who do know about these cameras are very against them. And yeah, basically, I'm advocating against these cameras to end the contract with Flock because it is not protecting the people in our community or even people passing through our community. And that is not the fault of our local police department, but it just causes danger for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else wanting to address the city council on items not on our agenda this evening? Not seeing anyone, then I will close that portion of our meeting. And before I go on, I know that you had your city manager's report already, but there might have been a couple of things on that last public comment that might not necessarily be accurate for the city of Monrovia. So if you might clear those up.
Maybe two comments I might suggest. First, I just want to clarify again that the city has requested, and the comments made earlier about requesting a report into the death of Carlos Roberto Montoya Valdez, the city has made multiple requests, including filed the Records Act request with California Highway Patrol. A deadline is coming up where they have requested multiple extensions. A deadline is later this week, so we hope to provide an update to council soon. Related to ALPRs, which are automated license plate readers, there's information on the city's website that we provide. I won't use this opportunity to, share the factual information. I would say that there are many people who are concerned about ALPR usage. Oftentimes, when you look at information on the internet, you see information that is countrywide. You see information that is about specific cities that are using ALPRs in opposition to state law. They're actually being sued by the Attorney General. I just want to clarify a few facts for those who are listening. So first, before a city can use these automated license plate readers, you have to adopt a policy which governs the use in the department. So we post that policy on the city's website, makes it very clear how we can use these ALPR cameras, but also it ensures that all of our officers are aware of how it's used. The city has a contract with Flock. We use 24 cameras throughout the city. These cameras are looking only at license plates at certain intersections, and they are looking at license plates that are that are wanted for some kind of crime or some kind of incident. It is not broad surveillance. It's not looking at facial recognition. I want to share an example of a use that, at least in Monrovia, I think proper use has been a very successful tool for us. Many will recall a few years ago we had a homicide call behind Gem City Grill. I received a call at 2 a.m. in the morning that there was a person who had been shot and killed in the back parking lot. And by the time I had arrived, the city had already identified a potential suspect and shared information in our flock system. A few hours later, the vehicle who had passed through an intersection with another flock camera was identified in a neighboring jurisdiction. Those officers called and said, "We've got the vehicle stopped. What would you like us to do?" And that person was wanted in an active homicide investigation. Within less than 8 hours, we had the suspect in custody. There are other instances where the technology has allowed our officers to solve crimes. Cities, even cities within the state of California, cannot just come in and access the city of Monrovia's flock information. There's a legal process and a policy process we have to go through to comply with the law. Otherwise, we could be audited. And if we are not in compliance with state law, we would be in big trouble. And I think one of the ways that we have tried to, I want to be careful about my use of words, but we are trying to use this technology properly in a way that does try to build public trust. And while we do understand residents' concerns and justified concerns about invasion of privacy and improper use, I'd encourage anyone to reach out to either me or the chief of police, and we can provide specific details about how we use it, which hopefully, we hope, increases trust in the community. I think our officers would also say that it's been a very helpful tool in giving us leads to suspects and helping us solve crime. But we want to be very clear that we are in compliance with state law. And it is not something that is just broad surveillance. We're specifically looking for vehicles that are tied to some sort of report of a crime. And I'd be happy to answer any further questions if you have any at this time.
Thank you very much. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. At this time, then, we are moving to our public hearings and meetings, and we have PH1, tentative tract map number 85208, to subdivide one lot into 6 condominium units for the property located at 1219 South Magnolia Avenue. Feng Zhao Architect, Inc., and the applicant, and then this is for resolution number 2026-40, and we have Austin Arnold, who is our assistant planner, and will be making this presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Shevlin, and good evening, council members. Tonight, we do have a tentative tract map. This is to subdivide one lot into 6 condominiums in conjunction with a proposed 6-unit, 2-story condominium project. And it is located at 1219 South Magnolia Avenue, and the applicant is Feng Zhao Architect Incorporated. So the subject site is located at 1219 South Magnolia Avenue. This is just south of West Huntington Drive on the west side of the street. It is located in the RH Residential High Density Zone. The lot is currently developed with 1 single-family residence and a detached garage, both of which are proposed for demolition. The applicant is proposing to construct a multifamily development of 6 units. Now, this project size is similar in size and density to those within the surrounding neighborhood, as you can see in the image. And the applicant has chosen to construct condominiums rather than a rental project, which this would allow individual ownership of those units. However, in order to do that, the project requires your approval of a tentative tract map to subdivide the parcel into 6 proposed condominiums, which is why it's before you here tonight. Here you can see that existing single-family residence in the slide, and then the proposed front elevation of the 6-unit condominium development on the right-hand side. Now, this project was reviewed for compliance with objective design standards. These are measurable design-related requirements such as exterior materials and finishes, architectural elements, building entries, blank walls, weather protection at ground floor entries, and grading, which it does meet. Here we have the tentative tract map. Here you can see it's both the tract map and a site plan for the proposed development project. The tract map shows the 6 units are divided into 3 buildings on site, each with 2 units attached to one another. The condo is going to range approximately just over 2,000 square feet to 2,250 in size. Each one will provide, has a floor plan of 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, an attached 2-car garage, and a private yard for each of the units. Each condominium is approximately 2 stories tall, and as you can see, you have a driveway at the north side of this property, as well as a common area for the residents with a nice covered patio in the rear. Now, this project was also reviewed for compliance with all the objective zoning development standards of the RH zone. It does meet or exceed all of those development standards, and this includes everything from density, floor area, setbacks, parking, and the private recreation space. So the proposed map does meet the findings, including consistency with the general plan and the zoning code. It also meets all of the objective design standards, as I stated. The site is clearly physically suitable for the development of the 6 condominium units, and the project does comply with the Subdivision Map Act and the Monrovia Municipal Code, all of which has been reviewed by our city's engineer. With that, this was reviewed by the Planning Commission on June 10th, 2026, and they unanimously recommended approval to City Council with the conditions as I have listed in the staff report. Staff recommends approval of the tract map. This does conclude my presentation, and I myself, as well as the applicant, are here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Any questions? This is a public hearing, and at this time, I'd like to ask if either the applicant or the owners would like to say anything on behalf of the project. If you could just give us your name. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Feng Xiao. I'm the principal of architectural firm FXA, located 2540 Huntington Drive, Suite 207, San Marino. It is my pleasure to be here to, I'm really happy to answer any question. I think Austin already did a very thorough job. So the goal we have here is we're actually studying the local vernacular style from larger scale to smaller scale. We try to deliver the high quality living, and we try to preserve what's already there, and we try to bring really authentic architecture, Spanish revival architecture here. I'm here to answer any question you might have. I don't have anything to add.
Any questions? Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Does it have a Spanish tile roof?
Correct. It is. It's a terracotta roof.
Okay, and anyone else wanting to talk on behalf of the owner, the applicant? Okay, anyone wanting to come before us and object to the project? In opposition? Not seeing any? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so I'll come back to the city council. I will close the public hearing. Any other further questions or comments by anyone on the council?
No, I had the opportunity to sit in on the planning commission meeting, and I think it's a pretty good project.
I want to also add, I have people from the public all the time ask me, why is it we just see apartments going up? When are we going to see some condos and some single-family dwellings that people can buy and build up equity? So I'm really pleased to see that this is finally happening, that you're seeing
Yes.
units that can be purchased as opposed to just rented. So I'm really happy with that.
Perfect.
With that, then, we do have a recommendation from the planning commission recommends option 1. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-40.
I'll second it.
Okay, is that the correct? I'm reading I was reading the track. Never mind. We have a motion and a second. Then could we please have a roll call vote?
Council members, Belden?
Yes.
Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Spicer?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez.
Yes.
And Mayor Shevlin.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Good report, Austin.
And Mayor, before we move on, I just want to read the following language for the record. The city's action on the item is final tonight, and the time to bring a legal action to challenge the item is limited by Code of Civil Procedure, Section 1094.6.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the reports of city manager and staff. We've already had our wonderful update by our city manager, Dylan Feek, and all those nice surprises that we were able to announce. So we will move on to RCM2 and Sampson Goes to School program overview. And we have Carrie Zessa, project manager, and she here this evening to present. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. Well, Lord knows Dylan is already a tough act to follow, but can you imagine me having to come after the reports of all the awards and everything? I just want to truly congratulate all the departments. I have to tell you, I'm a pretty proud City of Monrovia employee. I really, really am. And it's just such an exciting time
Well,
for the
we're
city.
proud of all of you, too.
Well, thank you. And good evening, Mayor and council members. On behalf of the Community Development Department and the Art and Public Places Committee, thank you for your ongoing support of not just art and public places, but for specifically Sampson Goes to School program. Our first slide highlights the inspiration behind one of Monrovia's most beloved public art programs. Many of you remember our dear Sampson, and he was our beloved hot tub bear who became a local celebrity after regularly wandering into town from the foothills during the 1990s in search of food and, of course, an occasional dip in a hot tub. He really became a local celebrity, and everybody was really in awe and fell in love with him. Inspired by Sampson's story, the city launched the Adopt a Sampson Bear program at the city's 125th birthday in 2010. Today, there are 17 Sampson bears displayed throughout Monrovia, and the images on the screen feature just a few of our unique bears that have helped make the Adopt a Sampson Bear program one of Monrovia's most recognizable and beloved public art traditions. Moving on. Building on that success, the Sampson Goes to School program creates an exciting new partnership with the Monrovia Unified School District. The images on the screen take a closer look at the 5 student-designed Sampson bears and showcase the creativity and unique identification of Brad Oaks, Mayflower, Monroe, Plymouth, and Waldrose Elementary. As you can see on each bear too, there are also specific design elements on each bear that showcase the individual school spirit and pride of each school. When you can look at the designs, you can tell that the students were the ones that designed it, and the teacher stepped in and did help with some of the elements, but the school district reported to staff that it really was the students that led, not just the ideas, but the enthusiasm. And even the ones that were graduating from that school said they're going to come back and visit their Sampsons. So this program is much more than just a public art program. It expands our beloved Adopt a Sampson program. It strengthens our partnership between the City of Monrovia and the wonderful school district partnership that the city already has with all of our joint programs. It does encourage school pride, and it gives students the unique opportunity to see their ideas and their hard work transformed into permanent works of public art that will withstand the test of time, that they'll be able to say whether they go back to school and visit or when their parents drop them off. I have no doubt that there will be many pictures of the youth and the parents standing in front of their own school bears, just like we see other people during the day and on the weekends too, taking pictures in front of Sampson bears. That shows up a lot in some of our social media, so it's pretty exciting. We are very excited to work with Tracy Loving Salazar to bring these wonderful student concepts to life and look forward to unveiling the completed bears at each school in the coming months. Out of our 17 current bears, Tracy Loving Salazar has either created or renovated 11 of the 17 bears. So she really is our Samson Bear expert. Someone asked earlier, why Tracy? And I said, you know, Tracy checks off all the boxes. She has extensive experience. She is an artist with passion and love for Samson. And Tracy also has not just a heart of gold for public art, but definitely a heart of gold for Monrovia. And she's been able to take a variety of artistic concepts and really just transform them into the most amazing bears. For example, if you look at the Brad Oaks bear, well, that bear will not necessarily look identical because he's in a different placement. But in speaking with Tracy, if we told her if it was approved, would she be able to capture a lot of the elements already on there in the spirit of it? And she has never let us down in all the bears she's done. So again, we just want to thank the city manager and the city council for just helping create another lasting symbol of public art that really inspires Monrovia's creativity, community spirit, and thank you for investing in our next generation of students who will become our next generation of artists. And I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Carrie?
That seems like a pretty good.
And I, right.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
And I know on the one on Brad Oaks, and I talked to Dylan about this, the rendering that we have right now is more cartoonish. It's not our current bear, but at any rate, it's got glasses. And I've already been told that we'll make sure that the glasses are something very durable because our art bear that we had on Myrtle, that thing was loved to death. And the glasses constantly were broken, and then when they tried to fix them, it looked like they were kind of applied like Play-Doh. It just never worked. So at any rate, very, very, very cute. And I know that and I don't know if this is possible, I know that someone had brought up at the time that we were discussing Blondie, if we could use a QR code or something on our bears, especially where we're placing them at the schools, to educate kids and families about our bears and bear treatment of bears and care for bears and all that. So if that's a possibility.
So Carrie, this is for the elementary schools, right?
Correct.
So they're little bears down in the elementary schools, and then they go to Clifton and they're cubs, right?
Yes.
And then they get up to the high school and they're a wildcat.
Yes.
I'm just trying to see how they're going to meet, you know?
Well, I think once we show the success at the elementary schools, I could see us expanding this program to Clifton. Now, if you recall, Monrovia High School already has a bear. They've got the Mr. Monroe bear, and it is the typical Samson bear, but it's dressed in the outfit
Right.
and the decorations to look like Mr. Monroe. But who's to say that we couldn't add a second bear to look like a bear, but also a wildcat? That would be a great
Perfect
opportunity
mate,
for our
perfect
artists
mate.
to do both.
Yeah, perfect mate. I hear you. Okay.
Absolutely.
This is good.
hat that's got the.
Sounds,
All right.
sounds good. And this is just an overview and for information. Well, we look forward to getting that information or seeing the finished product back. When do you think maybe that's
I
going
would
to
say
happen?
mid-fall. There is a little bit of a lengthy process in receiving because they're not mass-made. They have to be custom-built within this one company, which is a sole source. But the artist has already done a lot of some of the pre-work. So I would say mid-fall is really going to be a good time to celebrate and do some unveiling.
Yeah,
So
there you
Great,
go.
wonderful. Thank you very much.
Can't
thank you
wait.
very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Then moving on to our reports of city council members. I will start with Mr. Belden.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. It's been a busy summer already. I know everyone's enjoying the great activities and events. A few weeks ago, we had a really, really outstanding event in Library Park, hosted by Underdog Bookstore. It was a Pride Book Festival, and someone came up and mentioned just that the number of literary authors was probably like the highest number we've ever had in Monrovia in an event. So it was great if you could go there, you could just meet the author themselves, talk to them about their books, and learn more about it. all of us were at the All-America Cities, and I'm sure we all had many different things we walked away with. But I think I was just really impressed at all of the cities across the country that are just doing outstanding things to help make sure their community's better. And it just gives you the inspiration and great ideas for us to bring back to Monrovia and share and build on. And but it's also just brings you a warm spot in your heart to know that there's a lot of good happening across the country. So that's one of the good takeaways for me, at least. I've been enjoying those World Cup watch parties. I think it's been outstanding. I think that the community is also looking forward to seeing many more ways. People are like, what other sport events can we do that with? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll have to see which ones, figure out a way to make that work in a good way. But it's a good problem to have. And of course, on the 4th of July, it was fantastic to get out there and see everyone coming together, of course. And I enjoyed it as well. If somebody could figure out how to make fireworks not sound as loud, I'd like to meet them. And of course, the grand opening at Arthur Blair Historic Inn was quite outstanding. If you haven't seen that historic resource, I'm sure somebody else will talk about it tonight. But they're really, really amazing work that they've done in those places. And if you have a chance to go and visit them and tour them, please do.
Thank you, Edward. Larry?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Monrovia has had an incredible summer, and I want to highlight a few events and accomplishments that truly show the strength and spirit of our community. First, I want to share that Monrovia was represented by some really good delegates, and our city was an exceptionally well at the All-American City competition in Colorado. Our team showcased who are community rooted in service, resiliency, and unity, and they made us so proud. Their work and presentation reflected the very best of Monrovia. We also celebrated our nation's 200th and 50th birthday, and I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our staff for putting together a celebration that was truly second to none. The fireworks show was outstanding once again. Big bang, big bang. And it clearly shows how much effort goes into making the experience safe, memorable, and meaningful for our residents. As for what's ahead, our summer concerts in the park continues this Sunday, July the 12th, at Library Park with the Blue Breeze Band. It's always a great evening for families to enjoy music and time together in the heart of our city. We're also gearing up for Movies in the Park on Saturday, July the 18th at Station Square. We'll be showing Disney and Pixar cars. It's a fun, family-friendly night, and we encourage everyone to come out and enjoy the summer weather. It's going to be hot. For our teens, the City Spot program is back at Library Park every Friday through August the 7th, starting at 5 p.m. This is a safe and engaging space for teens to connect, participate in activities, and enjoy time with friends. And speaking of youth involvement, the Youth Commission positions are now open. Students in grades 6 through 12 who want to build leadership skills, make new friends, and help shape team events in Monrovia are encouraged to apply, and anyone interested can contact the community center for more information. Lastly, the families are invited to Kids Craft in the canyon at the Nature Center on Saturday, July the 18th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a free hands-on program where kids can explore nature and enjoy creative activities. Monrovia has a summer full of opportunities, service, and fun, and we hope to see our residents out enjoying all that is happening. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Kelly?
Hi, thank you. I'm not going to go over all of the wonderful events that we have been going on in our community, but what I will say is that, you know, when we put on these type of events and the community comes out, it's such a beautiful it sets such a beautiful tone in the community. People are going through a lot. We never know what's happening with our neighbors, but when we all get together, such as the watching the World Cup, just being together, even though we didn't win, but just sitting together, eating pizza together, and just sharing. I saw so many people sharing their food and that type of thing. We never know what our neighbors are going through, and I'm just grateful that we get to have these opportunities to go to concerts in the park, or to have the World Cup, or to have the 4th of July, and not to take that for granted. There are a lot of elders that are in their home by themselves. They don't have their children around, and so just coming out to the park and seeing other people could really make their day. And so I'm grateful to be able to participate and to be a part of a community that really invests in community. I think it's important, particularly in a time like that we're in now. I do want to just highlight the community services department or teams that worked really hard on the 4th of July. I thought it was amazing, all that goes on behind the scenes to make that happen. There's a lot that goes on, lots of teams, the fire department, Public Works. I really wanted to kind of mention Public Works tonight because we have these big events and we go home and we go to sleep or whatever we do, but we don't recognize that there's a whole nother crew that comes in to clean up, to make sure that our city looks good when we wake up in the morning. And so I just really want to just spotlight communities, the Public Works Department, and say thank you. And they do it with a smile. And they just love what they do. I've never ran into any Public Works employee that really had a bad attitude. And I could say that with so many departments, but I just wanted to highlight that and highlight Community Services Department and our Police Department. And I better stop. But anyway, thank you guys and City Manager's Office for getting us to Denver. That was a big crowd. There was a lot of people that went, and you're talking about planes, and you're talking about trying to get everybody there and coordinate all that and put on the actual presentation is not small. And we just want to say we're proud of you, and we want to say thank you for caring for us in that way. That's all I have.
Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All these wonderful events, the All-America competition in Denver, the watch party, seeing our team participate in the FIFA World Cup, 4th of July event, they all have one thing in common, and that's the teamwork that's exhibited by the great job that staff and the volunteers put into this. And this also includes our police and fire departments, that sometimes we don't realize just how hard they work to make the efforts happen. Because they don't happen by themselves. It's the staff, the volunteers that make it happen. Monrovia is noted for its downtown. I've always heard comments, it's so clean. It's clean before the events, and it's clean after the events. It's incredible how quickly they restore our downtown after we've had a major event. It doesn't get any bigger than the 4th of July. If anything, we're a victim of our own success because it seems that every year we have more people. What we lack is just more space because obviously we're attracting a crowd that's not just Monrovians. It's people from other communities that realize what a wonderful, not just 4th of July, but all these wonderful events, the watch party. I talked to people that were also from outside Monrovia and they heard about it. I don't know how, but they heard about it and they were there. But it's because the staff, it's the volunteers, we all work together. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for working together to make this such a big success. And I also wanted to say that I'm so happy that Monrovia's historic identity is really at the forefront of what's happening with the Arthur Blair Historic Inn. Here we see a dream that Steve Baker had become reality because of hard work, yes, through personal initiative on the part of the owners, but also staff that helped make that site possible. It's so impressive to see it on the 4th of July. If you think the outside looks beautiful, you should go on the inside. It's even more impressive. All three of the buildings, really impressive. I can't wait till the restaurant Viola's is open in a couple of weeks. This is something that historically, as well as, I guess, culinary, because it's going to be a high-end restaurant, it's going to put Monrovia on the map. And speaking of putting Monrovia on the map, Route 66, the Main Street of America, Route 66 Centennial Caravan came through Monrovia. This was a 20-day caravan that started at Santa Monica Pier because that's supposedly where Route 66 either ends or begins, depending on your perspective. And there was more than 70 cars that drove 2,448 miles all the way to Chicago. And they stopped in Monrovia's Aztec Hotel and the Flying A gas station. If some of you didn't find out, it's because they did it on a Sunday morning at before 7:30 a.m. But the caravan members, some of them made this comment. They asked, have you ever been on Route 66? And I said, I've only been on a portion of it. And they said, well, if you go, you're going to notice one thing. Most of the historic surviving buildings, they're from the 50s and 60s. Some, very few, they're from the 40s. But Monrovia is unique. He says, you have buildings that are 100 years old. The Flying A gas station, the Tired Iron Dodge dealership, the Aztec Hotel. He said, this is very rare. They also said that the Flying A gas station is one of only 2 architecturally significant surviving gas stations on Route 66 in the entire state of California. So they were really impressed by the historical resources that Monrovia has. So it's inspiring to see people from outside Monrovia, from outside the area, really recognizing and appreciating Monrovia's beauty, its historical beauty, and its aesthetics, the beauty of the foothills. So that concludes my report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. And I'm not going to repeat everything. We lost our audience here this evening, and thank you very much for the few of you that are still here. But I won't repeat everything that everyone has said, but most definitely on the All-America City, it makes you feel good inside because we hear so much ugly things and divisive things these days about our country, and it truly lets the experience, it let you know that the American spirit is definitely alive and well, and there are many, many people doing some really great things and things that they shared with us and we can share with them. So I know we say better together as a nation, we are all better together. So I'll just leave it at that. And I want to thank staff for working very hard to put that together. And it's so nice that we have a Trader Joe's in Monrovia because everybody likes all the Trader Joe's treats that the city shared. I did want to share a few things since our last council meeting that I've either been involved in. On June 17th, I attended the HomeSmart 30th anniversary. HomeSmart is a business in Old Town here, and it was really quite unique. They had 6 of their offices are actually, 6 of their offices. It was a big Zoom, big screen, and they had the screen all divided up, and so they all participated all at one time, and that was very nice, and I had a certificate for them. On June 22nd, and then on Saturday, June 20th, yes, the Pride Book Festival was going on in the park, lots of vendors, but I wanted to point out our library, the great planning and events that they have. They had a session on induction cooking. And our library now has 6 induction cooktops that you can rent. I think it's for 3 weeks at a time. I think that's accurate. But please, 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 if you haven't gone to the library lately or you don't know anything about our library of things, it's absolutely exciting. The fellow that gave the presentation was a representative from Southern California, Edison. So he was a little biased, I would say a lot biased, and it was all about becoming all electric, but it really is just really neat that we have so many great things that you can check out at our library. On June 22nd, the San Gabriel Valley COG, I participate in an ad hoc committee regarding SB 79, and that's regarding the various mapping requirements around transit stations. At any rate, just recently, on July 2nd, the SCAG Regional Council approved the approach and methodology for the Senate Bill SB 79, mapping requirements at that meeting. At any rate, SB 79 aims to accelerate transit-oriented housing production by establishing statewide standards to streamline housing development near qualifying transit stops. The legislation directs each metropolitan planning organization in California to develop and maintain an official SB 79 map identifying qualifying stop zones and tiers for transit-oriented development. And I believe, have we adopted our maps yet? I know our planning is working on it specifically.
So, the maps at SB 79 have been published. I don't know that we have to adopt them, but they are officially published by SCAG.
Okay, yeah, they are, definitely did go in effect as of July 1st, and SCAG's SB 79 TOD stop zones and tier maps for the SCAG region are now available online. SCAGs, they identify qualifying transit stops, transit-oriented development zones, and tier classifications based on service characteristics in qualifying urban transit counties. At any rate, the maps provide consistent and transparent regional data set to support the implementation of SB 79. But in terms of that ad hoc that I was just talking about, we are continuing to meet. There are some lingering questions regarding the implementation for SB 79 as to certain cities, and the SCAG continues to reach out and collaborate with each of the impacted jurisdictions, transit operators, and other interested parties to review relevant data and incorporate verified updates to the SB 79 maps and zones and whatnot. And so what we have asked is that the HCD actually come back and provide something in writing. There's a lot of, we might discuss it, but it's not actually in writing. So we've asked them to clarify a few things. So at any rate, I could read on, but I think you get the gist of that one. Monrovia, our city, our community center, we hosted an LA County City Selection Committee, and those are wild meetings. Normally, every city in the county, the city selection meetings, they all had to meet all together. And it was really, really, really hard to get a quorum. Not only is it deemed the number of cities present, but also weighted on population. So you can imagine, really, really hard to get a quorum. So the last couple meetings, they've allowed us to do virtual meetings, and Monrovia provided one of those locations, and we had about 20 mayors in our over there at the community center. So I was very proud to be able to host that. And Corey Kaleke, the city council member from Claremont, was elected as the next chair for the city selection committee. And there were some other appointments through Metro and also the LA County Library System. Also attended the Pie Life, and some of the rest of us also attended the Pie Life ribbon cutting, and we're all so happy to have a pizza company back in town there in our old town. And on June 25th, Foothill Transit, the executive board, we hosted Foothill Transit Partners from Keolis in Old Town, so it was nice to show Foothill Transit people they do like our restaurants here in Old Town. And yes, those watch parties were great. They were fun. They were spontaneous, and it was just really neat to see. And especially all the kids that were out, because there were watch parties, but so many of them around here are in bars or whatnot. So it was really nice to see how many kids came out. And thank you to the staffs. They provided, especially during the breaks, the kids were playing soccer over on the other side of the grass. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Dylan, for hearing all of those, including my husband, that were wanting that watch party. I thought it was great. Everybody had a great time. And then on June 26th, unfortunately, I wasn't able to join the All-America City as early as I would have liked. And on that Friday, the 26th, I was attending my executive committee on regional housing alignment, homeless regional alignment. So at any rate, that meeting on that Friday, we voted on an amendment to our bylaws, and we also voted for a new chair. So I stepped down. Yes, why am I heard Kaludovic, Paige Kaludovic is the new chair, and I stepped down. I am going to continue on as vice chair. And then, the Arthur Blair House, and I was talking to the owners this evening. They had one of their very first, I guess, private events, and it was a surprise birthday party for Jim Wigton, and it was a fantastic event. But I was talking to one of the owners of the Arthur Blair House, and he said they're having their final health inspection tomorrow, and they hope to have maybe a soft opening for their restaurant this weekend, but very soon, and the same would follow with the rooms. So at any rate, that's really exciting, and so look forward to having more events there and just having a real gem in our city. And I just mentioned we wished Jim Wigton a very happy 80th birthday. Yep. So that is my report, and again, thank you to staff for all that you do. It's super. We are definitely, yes, better together. Then moving on to our administrative reports, AR1, fiscal year 2026-27, building and development related fees resolution 2026-47, and our very own Ray Bowman, Administrative Services Director, will be presenting this item.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Mayor Shevlin and members of City Council. Thank you for your time this evening. This will be a brief report. The item before you is the adoption of the fiscal year 26-27 building and development related fees. As Council will recall, when the fiscal year 26-27 schedule of fees and charges was adopted on June 16th, these particular fees were reviewed but excluded for approval due to the noticing requirements under Government Code Section 66016. Those noticing requirements have now been satisfied, and tonight we're returning with the remaining fee updates for your consideration and approval. As a note, hard copies of the fee schedule changes have been provided to you for reference. It's that big schedule, and that's attachment A for resolution number 2026-47. So as previously mentioned, on June 16, City Council reviewed and approved the 26-27 schedule of fees and charges as part of our budget adoption process. However, again, due to noticing requirements, building and development related fees were not included for approval recommendation at that time. These fees included building, planning, engineering, and fire plan check and inspection fees. The noticing requirements have since been satisfied, and the proposed changes tonight are consistent with the fee adjustments reviewed and approved on June 16th, which resulted in most fees increasing by 3.2% based on CPI. So with that, staff recommends that the City Council adopt resolution number 2026-47, updating the fiscal year 26-27 schedule of fees and charges to incorporate the proposed building and development related fee changes. And that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of Ray?
No.
It is really exciting to see so many of the items at 100% of cost recovery. And I know that there are a lot of people that think we make money on a lot of these things. We do not, and by law, we cannot. And but it is great to see that so many of them are reaching that 100% recovery rate. Well, if there are no other questions or comments, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-47.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmembers Belden,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly? Yes. Spicer?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez?
Yes.
And Mayor Shevlin?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ray. Great report. Okay, AR2, Amendment to Chapter 3.44 Transient Occupancy Tax of Title III Revenue and Finance of the Monrovia Municipal Code to clarify transient occupancy tax administrative requirements for hotels and short-term rental operators and platforms, introduction of and first reading of ordinance 2026-02. That was a mouthful. And we have, again, Ray Bowman, Administrative Services Director, that will present this item.
Thank you. Thank you again. Good evening again, Mayor Shevlin, members of City Council. The item before you is the amendment to Chapter 3.44 of Title III of the Monrovia Municipal Code to clarify the applicability of TOT to short-term rental operators and hosting platforms, which recommends the introduction of and first reading of ordinance number 2026-02. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. As council will recall, staff conducted a study session on May 19th, which provided an overview of the city's transient occupancy tax, or TOT, including potential updates to the city's TOT ordinance related to short-term rentals. During that study session, the city council expressed interest in receiving additional information in order to more comprehensively address the short-term rental activity within the city. In order to address this, staff has taken a two-part approach. The first part, which is the item before you tonight, focuses on updating the city's TOT ordinance to clarify the applicability of TOT to short-term rental operators and hosting platforms. And the second part will involve staff returning to City Council at the next meeting on July 21st, and will focus on broader regulatory considerations related to short-term rentals, which includes discussion on zoning, land use, and public safety considerations, among others. But for tonight, the proposed TOT ordinance amendment includes administrative updates that collectively provide a consistent mechanism for administering and collecting TOT from short-term rental operators. So essentially, this amendment helps the city administer TOT for short-term rentals, treating them consistently with how we collect TOT from hotels and other lodging accommodations. Specifically, the ordinance establishes a registration process for short-term rentals, requiring hosting platforms to collect and remit TOT to the city, and aligns the city's municipal code with the provisions of SB 346. So what updates will the city see as a result of this ordinance amendment? Short-term rental operators will be required to register with the city and obtain a transient occupancy registration certificate. And for hosting platforms such as Airbnb and VRBO, the ordinance requires them to collect the city's existing 12% transient occupancy tax, remit those taxes to the city, and provide reporting information authorized under state law. And as discussed during the study session in May, the city's existing TOT ordinance predates today's online hosting platforms and the current short-term rental marketplace. So these amendments aim to modernize the ordinance to better reflect today's transient lodging environment. These amendments improve the city's ability to administer and collect TOT from short-term rentals. And it's important to note that the ordinance update doesn't impose a new tax or result in a tax rate increase. It simply establishes a framework to administer and collect TOT consistently while improving visibility into short-term rental activity in the city. With that, staff recommends the introduction of ordinance number 2026-02, read it by title only, and waive further reading. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Questions of Ray?
Yeah, I just have a real quick question. If I wanted to say do an Airbnb, how will I know about this tax and the information? Is there a what? Because right now, do they need? Because I'm sorry, right now they don't need to register with the city if they are, or do they? If they're Airbnb.
Currently, they're not required, so short-term rental operators aren't required to register with the city. But this essentially provides us the mechanism to contact Airbnb and let them know now we can charge, or they can assess the TOT on those that are wanting to book on their platform.
So we don't have to go and try to search out who's doing.
Correct.
Where the air, it's more, it goes directly to
Airbnb.
the company. Oh, okay.
Mhm. Yes, and VRBO. They will essentially flip a switch and start assessing and collecting the TOT to remit to the city.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? I did have quite a comment, actually. We had also discussed in that prior,
Study session.
yes, study session, and we had talked about the topic of increased taxes, but that, as I understand, will come back to us for discussion at a later meeting.
Correct. So tonight is simply the applicability of this. Just for the listening public, there was a discussion about whether the city should consider a business improvement district. So they're similar to the one we have in Old Town. Business improvement districts are basically approved by the property owner. It's a voluntary tax increase. And the city's had discussions about reaching out to hotel operators to see if our large hotels would consider a voluntary tax increase to help with economic development initiatives of the city. So further discussions coming in related to that.
And I only bring that up because we did have that earlier conversation, and just if anyone was listening in on that, wondered where that was at. So that was my only reason to bring it up. Then if we do not have any other questions or comments for Ray, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve 2026-02.
We have a motion and a second. Can we please have a roll call vote?
Council members Belden,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly, Spicer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimenez.
Yes.
And Mayor Shevlin.
Yes. Thank you very much, and great reports, Ray. We don't have any further need for public input, and there are no.
And Mayor, before
Yes.
we move on,
Yes.
I just want to read the title of the ordinance.
Oh, I'm sorry, because it is the first reading. Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, of course. So this is ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Monrovia, California, amending Chapter 3.44 of Title 3 of the Monrovia Municipal Code to clarify transient occupancy tax requirements for hotels and short-term rental operators and hosting platforms.
And I will mention on both, I meant to say something on both AR1 and AR2, we did not have any requests for public comment. Then going forward, this brings us to the end of our agenda, our scheduled meetings. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is Tuesday, July 21st at 7:30 PM here in these chambers. And with that, I am going to adjourn this meeting this evening in memory of Armando Burrell, father of Public Works senior maintenance worker Carlos Burrell. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I apologize. And then again, Ed Cunningham, longtime Canyon Park Trail volunteer. And so please keep them in your hearts and prayers. And with that, then we are adjourned at 9:20. Thank you for joining us.
Did we